Hey, it is 2025, and you know what that means. Moonshot's been on a rural pitch tour all this year. We're about to wrap it up. I think our finals are in just another month and a half from now in October, but this is what we call the Entrepreneur Spotlight, and I have the pleasure of co-hosting these interviews with our first place winners across the state of Arizona, with the lovely Ruth Ellen Elinski, the director of SBDC, Yavapai County, who has been with us since we started these tours. And so it's appropriate that she's with us on these interviews, I think. How are you doing today, Ruth?
I'm great. It's good to see you again, Scott. You know, I love these interviews. I'm excited about who we're interviewing next. And
exactly. And I'm always excited for you to see who we've chosen from around the state, right? Because some of these folks obviously are brand new. These aren't your current clients in Yavapai County. But this one today kind of surprised us a bit. I'll be honest with you. They came out of, you think about certain rural communities, and sometimes you don't honestly think about technology companies that could change the medical industry. But here is a great example. We found these gentlemen in Safford, Arizona. And so let's go ahead and bring him out. His name is Stephen Taylor, and he is a co-founder of Nexus Health. Hello,
Stephen. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So Stephen joined. Like I said, he came and performed very well, obviously, because they came in first place. But rather than for me to explain this to you, Ruth Ellen, I want him to tell you about what Nexus Health is.
Let's hear it.
So take it away, Stephen.
Yeah, so Nexus Health is an AI company where we leverage AI to see people's bodies as a whole, taking their blood, their DNA, and their biology, and see how it all works together and provide them with precision healthcare that is aligned to their unique physiology.
Wow. So I have to ask, how did you hear about Moonshot? Like, really, Scott, I could see why you would be like, wow, who knew?
Yeah, so you'll love this. My wife is the one that found Moonshot because she's on social media. She follows all the local small business development centers. As a loving wife and supporter of an entrepreneur, she keeps track of these things. She saw the Moonshot thing, and she's like, you have to go do this.
Excellent. That's great.
And like I said, not only did they do it, they won. But so if I can remember correctly, it's got both a B2B and a B2C element as well, right? Your platform or what you're delivering. So Ruth Ellen, I think you could come on join his website and purchase a profile, right? Or a kit to create a profile for yourself that would then set you on a road to better living. And it would look at everything. And then you could Nexus Health also can provide the same type of form for a doctor. So then your primary care person could be like 20 doctors in one room, because he or she would have all this knowledge based on the report that's being provided from Nexus Health. Did I summarize that okay, Stephen?
You did, Scott. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, and we are a clinician-first practice. We're trying to focus on the clinicians. Let's face it, clinicians are struggling with the healthcare system that is today. As are patients, we're kind of frustrated with the way things work. It's difficult to try to correlate all the data that you have out there. And over 60% of Americans have some sort of chronic illness that they're fighting every single day. You can't get good, easy answers anymore. So our clinicians are just burnt out trying to figure out what's going on with people. So we are primarily focused on our clinicians first. We want to give them the tools in their hands so they can scale and really understand their patients uniquely and give them precision prescriptions rather than just going based off of universal information. On the patient side, you get to track all that yourself. You get to see your protocols, see how you're doing against those protocols, and we're even releasing some meal prep information for people to be able to pull up on an app and be like, I need to make dinner according to my protocol. How should I do that? So we are doing both B2B and B2C business, but our primary focus is enabling our clinicians.
Yeah. So are you looking at Eastern and Western practices as well, or how does it work from the medicine side?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so we focus on natural medicine. So we're looking at supplements and natural health remedies, right? So we're not necessarily looking at like meditative things and things of that nature, but we are looking at your natural biology from really from a supplemental and vitamin standpoint. Even sometimes it's going to be simple things in your protocol that's going to be like, hey, you need to go outside for 15 minutes and get sunlight, because sunlight's good for you. Other things will be like, hey, you need to take some methylfolate. That's a supplement that you need to take. And we're so prescriptive and precise in this, as we even tell you when to take it and how to take it. So it's not something that we just say, hey, take some supplements and call it a day. It's no, you need to take this supplement in the morning before you drink your first cup of coffee. You need to take this supplement in the afternoon after you eat a light lunch. This supplement will fit very well in between your lunch and your dinner time period where you're still kind of fasting. And then, hey, these are the ones you want to take at night to help you get a good night's rest and be ready for the next day.
So have you, oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to add, so sorry, I always get excited about this. So what's your biggest success story from a user of this process? Do you have one yet where somebody's, oh, you changed my life?
We do. We have multiple. we have multiples. And you know, if I could look at it from a few different perspectives, we do have a product suite. We're not just one product. We are a full product. So our primary product is what we call our biomatrix product. That's where we do the actual analysis of an individual's DNA and their blood work. And one of the women that we initially piloted this with, one of our early adopters, she was struggling really heavily with postpartum depression. She was having a hard time getting her cycles back normal. And it had been a year since she had her child. So it was very unusual for her not to be kind of quote unquote back to normal. And the doctors were having a hard time figuring out what was going on, what was lingering, what was happening here. And we did the report. We showed her kind of, hey, these are the supplements and lifestyle changes that you could make to really help you to be more normal back to yourself, or what yourself is supposed to be. And let's also repair some of the receptors that are happening. Because let's face it, when you have a child, your physiology actually changes. You're never the same as before you have a child. So she needed some additional supplements to kind of help reset her physiology back and repair those damages that were done during the pregnancy. And 3 months later, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm regular. I feel better. I have more energy. I'm back to myself. I feel like myself again. And it really cured like that postpartum depression that she was dealing with and gave her a much better lifestyle. Additionally, we do our couple simulation engine. That's another part of our suite of tools where we can take two people's DNA and blood markers, and we can pull them together and say, what is the family going to look like? So we can look at what their offspring could potentially have, and also help with fertility. Like we can even analyze semen samples and say, okay, this is how you can maximize your chance for fertility. But after the fact, we did it with a family, and they have children. And it showed that there's a recessive gene in both the mother and the father that makes the children 25% chance of having some sort of carnitine deficiency. Well, they were concerned about this child, this boy, that he was having some challenges. He was a little slower in school. He wasn't able to exercise and go out and play with the other kids. And they really thought maybe he has exercise-induced asthma. They went to their doctor, got him on albuterol, and they're like, well, maybe he's actually on the spectrum. Maybe something's going on otherwise as he's getting older. But what we found out was this carnitine deficiency fit all the symptoms that he was exhibiting. Just no one was able to pull those things together. As soon as they put him on the carnitine supplement, within weeks, he was a completely different child. And one of the big, pats on the back that we got was, hey, I took him to the splash pad and he was running and playing with his friends. And it's like, that's what we're here for. We're here really to revolutionize how healthcare is done.
Big win. Yeah. Wow. That's a great story. I was just going to ask how you approach, or how have you previously approached the medical providers with this new technology? Like, how did you get them to buy into this? What did that look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. When you talk to medical providers, you're typically dealing with very type A people. Let's just say that. And they have to be. They are right. The smartest guy in the room. And I'm coming in there and saying, hey, I've got an AI that can help you.
Right.
Oh,
right.
I went through the medical school. Your AI didn't.
And spend hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that, right?
Exactly. And I carry the malpractice insurance for it too. But the way that we've approached that is we're not trying to replace clinicians. That is not our role. You will always have this need for that personal touch and understanding of the context around your case that a clinician can bring to bear. So what we approach with is we say we take the heavy lifting and burden of the analysis side of things. So no longer do you have to pore over everybody's individual blood results. No longer do you have to read these medical journals to try to figure out what nugget you can pull into this specific use case and align with this. We're doing that for you. And then we give you this report that you look through because we expect humans to look at the report and validate it. Are we accurate? Did we miss something? You know your patient better than we do. We're an AI, right? So we want to give you all the analysis. Now you can look at it from a patient perspective and say, okay, I agree. This is the path we should go. So remove all that heavy lifting. The doctors that we've been working with love that because now they can actually scale their practices and they can see more patients and do more good for those patients. And another challenge that practitioners have, especially in the wellness space, is retention of their patients. Most of the time when you go to a wellness clinic, they do a little blood work, you show up, they're like, here's the supplements we suggest you take, come check back with us in 3 months. And they never see the patient again. Because of the way that we run our system and when they onboard into our platform, we give them the ability to communicate with their patients, check in, how's it going, how's things happening? Hey, we're scheduled for a retest. Let's get that appointment on the book so we can see how you're doing. And we can give them objective measures rather than subjective measures on how it's going.
Because so almost like a CRM built in there.
Yeah, exactly.
For the provider.
Spot on. And what's unique about some of the stuff in the wellness space when you're dealing with natural medicines, a lot of times it's very subjective. How do you feel? Do you feel better? Do you feel like it's helping? What we do, because we analyze the blood so deeply, is we can actually give objective measures that say, yes, these markers are improving, or these markers are stagnant, or these markers are destabilizing, and we need to fix that. So we can give very objective measures.
So, Stephen, I'm especially excited for women's healthcare, where your tool is being applied. As of late, it seems menopause is a big topic of discussion, and there's a lot of. It's weird that I'm talking about this, right, Ruth Ellen? Let me explain menopause to you, Ruth Ellen. But
do tell, Scott. Do tell.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
But yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, it just seems like this is such a great answer for that, because every single individual clinician person has a different theory that sends a woman down a certain path. And if it's not that, then they kind of throw their hands up and then they go to a different doctor. And it seems like this science packet that you're putting together is just like, should be a huge aha moment and wow factor for solving the challenges that have been so difficult to pinpoint when it comes to menopause and what treatments are best for an individual. So, and again, it goes back to your story about postpartum depression, right? That type of thing too, to look at it from a standpoint of, nutrition and all the different areas that could benefit for, I'm not going to say a cure, but could benefit and make that individual feel whole again.
Yeah, well, and that's what it's all about. It's about optimizing the body to work the best way it possibly can. And everyone's unique in the way that they operate. So we have to be cognizant of that. But it's interesting that you bring up the menopause conversation. My wife is going through that right now. And what we did with her with Nexus Health is we gave her a supplement protocol and we did some analysis on what's going on with her body. And what's interesting is we actually found that genetically she really struggles detoxing estrogen. So her body isn't processing the detox of estrogen. So when the estrogen levels go up, they don't come back down like they're supposed to. So we were able to work with her through natural ways, very gentle ways, because it's all natural medicines, to say, okay, let's repair your body and teach it how to detox better. And this can help mitigate those hot flash symptoms. It helps mitigate those mood swings that come along with menopause. It helps mitigate the night sweats so she can get a good night's sleep. Some of those symptoms that come as part of menopause instead of just treating the symptoms and giving them a medication that says, here, we're going to cool you down here, or here, we're going to help you with this. It's really about saying, okay, let's look at your body and how is your body activating these new hormones that are now being impressed upon you, and where are the challenges lying? If you can't detox oxygen, you can't kind of move through that in a much more comfortable way. Let's face it, menopause is not an easy process for women. We want to make it as comfortable and seamless as possible, just like pregnancy and just like postpartum.
So the other big one I continue to see a lot about, as we experience through friends and family, is Lyme disease. Lyme disease is something else that impacts so many people, and yet a lot of doctors don't know how to pinpoint it. And so it seems like your science, this idea, would really bring that to the spotlight quicker than a lot of digging and trying things that don't work.
Absolutely. And I'm a personal patient of Nexus as well. I have a chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. And yes, I'm going to quiz you on that, Ruth, later. And it's an autoimmune disease. And, Lyme disease was actually one of the things that they were concerned it might be. And I went through years upon years upon years upon years of testing, being a human lab rat, to try to figure out what's going on inside of my body. And then I went through years of experimental treatments to try to solve for it. And it's a progressive disease. CIDP is a progressive disease similar to like MS. I was literally in a wheelchair, couldn't get out of a wheelchair, couldn't walk because I was so unbalanced. I had fallen numerous times and couldn't do it. Well, after I did my Nexus report and started looking at what's going on in my body, we found multiple different deficiencies in my physiology that could be treated naturally. And additionally, we found that the treatment that my doctor had put me on, my body would not handle well. Genetically, I couldn't handle IVIG. I would always get these terrible headaches and stuff like that. Well, I'm genetically predisposed to say that won't work for me. So I was able to take that to my doctor and be like, hey, number one, we need to change treatment plans. And number two, I'm going to take all these supplements, and now I can walk again. I'm out of the wheelchair. I still use a cane for the balance, but I'm able to walk. And Scott, you got to see that in Graham County, being able to walk up and stand to present this pitch.
That's amazing. So what's next, Stephen? What's coming down the pipeline for you and Nexus?
Yeah. So we're actually at our full launch now. So we have early access, and that website that you posted earlier. That gets you access to our early access program. We are doing deep discounts for early access people that want to be part of our early access program. It is limited, it's limited seats, but we are giving a deep discount for that. And then the next big thing for us is we're going to start launching in 3 weeks. We'll be fully launched, and we're working on getting our funding. So that's our next big step, is getting all of our funding so we can go out and bring this awesome healthcare to everyone in the country.
One of the number one things, though, that a lot of people will ask you, so I'm hoping this is not a gotcha question, but is like, what happens to my data? What happens to my personal medical data? How do you address that?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because it's imperative to us to be operating ethically. When you're dealing with people's medical systems, you want to be very, very ethical in the way that you handle that data and the way you handle sensitive information. So first and foremost, we are GDPR compliant. So any personally identifiable information is stripped from our system before it ever goes through the AI engine. We use local sourced servers that we own, that we put in our data center, to make sure that data never leaves our control. It always stays. Your personal information and your AI generated stuff can only be rehydrated. That doesn't go with it. It gets stripped out. So we're fully GDPR compliant, which is the European standard for PII, personally identifiable information. We're also fully HIPAA compliant, right? So we are fully aligned with the US standard for medical information. We are 100% HIPAA compliant. There is no way. Everything is authenticated. Everything is encrypted. There's no way to break into the system and steal your information. We parse it out intentionally. We break it down into chunks so that even if someone did correct part of our system, they could never have access to the whole biology of you. The last thing, when you talk about the data, we don't keep it. We dump the data, right? Once we run it through our system, we don't store that data anymore. we let that data go. We let it expire out of our systems because we don't want to hold on to your data. Now, we can rehydrate the system with your data if you want us to, but you'd give us fresh data for that rehydration. We don't store your data.
And if I purchase a packet right now, and then I'm on some cure or pathway to something, right? I don't not necessarily a cure, but a better lifestyle. Would you recommend that in whatever that lifespan would be, to update my plan every 5 years, or how would it work with what you're selling me today?
Yeah, great question. So what we're providing for you is the full reporting on how your body's working and what you could do to fix it. What's also included in that report tells you what to retest and when. So
Okay.
that you can go back and do some, and then the first panel of blood is a lot, right? The second panel of blood will just be a couple things, just to see how things are going. Are we actually hitting the mark? Do we need to pivot and adjust based on how your body's reacting to the protocol that we give you? DNA doesn't change, so you never have to redo the DNA side of things.
Right.
But yeah, so it gives you, it's very hand-holding in telling you when you should check again, when you should re-look at these markers to see how you're doing along. We're hoping for our patients to stay with us for a long time because we want them to be able to live their best lives and be the best them that they can be.
That's awesome. Well,
I
I'm
feel
excited.
Like perfect spot to stop. That was
Yeah, I'm
really
excited. I'm
wrap
excited. I'm excited for you to see the pitch in October with Ellen, and for everybody to see the pitch. Actually, can you tell me what the price point would be for somebody to on your trial, pre-trial, early?
Yeah.
Now?
So we've deeply discounted it for early access. It's $247 to get the report.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I think you're onto something. Obviously, I'm excited about it. Every time you can tell because we went completely off script and I kept asking new questions.
But we didn't ask any of the questions that are on our list.
And
I got to explain menopause to Ruth Ellen, which is always fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for clearing that up.
Scott's now an expert.
Hardly, but thank you again, Stephen. We are certainly looking forward to seeing the pitch in October, and we're so glad you're on this journey, and we're so glad to play a small role in helping you bring this to the market. So thank you.
Well, I have to say, I've been recommending Moonshot to everybody that I can, fellow entrepreneurs, because the opportunity, Scott, that Moonshot gives to people like myself who live in these rural communities and don't really have access to the things that you would get in the big cities to help us prepare for these conversations. I tell you what, I walked into a venture capitalist literally today and was able to share my Moonshot pitch with them, and it got them wanting to have a next conversation. So the work that you're doing is phenomenal. Please keep up the good work, and I would happily be a testimonial to what Moonshot.
Well, that was perfect right there. We'll chop that out.
Exactly. All right, Stephen, I'll let you go do amazing things, and we'll, like I said, we'll see you in person in October.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Nice to meet you, Stephen. Looking forward to seeing you.
Nice to meet you as well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. What a plug.
Amazing.
That was nice.
I got chills, actually. That was really nice. A testament to your work and your team's work.
Oh, thank you. Well, again, we never know. We never know, right? You just never know. You cannot judge an entrepreneur by their location. But
that's the truth.
I'm sure that's been said somewhere.
Is that a new tagline?
Exactly. But that's why we do what we do, and we hope that people like Stephen, he will become an evangelist in that part of the region of the state, and he will inspire, and he will bring out more entrepreneurs because they do breed one. And once you see that,
absolutely,
it definitely increases that for that region. So I'm just thrilled to see him again. It's been a while since we saw him, but again, I was very excited about what they pitched, and it sounds like he's already talking to investors and
getting ready for the next step. Right.
Exactly.
And just going back on that, the finals, again, and I've said this before, it really is a wonderful demonstration of the different industries we're seeing across the state coming out of these rural communities. And I think people, they don't necessarily think about someone like Stephen, being based in a rural community. So it's exciting that the final event is always really exciting to see the diversity across the entrepreneurs presenting. So.
And Ruth Ellen, what's happening is every single year we return to a community, the talent even increases.
It goes up.
It continues to go up. So I think, so who knows who knows what we'll continue to see, honestly. I mean, I'm no longer, my mind is no longer quite being blown, by what we see, because now it's just becoming part of the deal. But what a great example. So I'm glad I got to introduce Stephen to you. And like I said, I'm glad we're also playing a small role in bringing this amazing technology to the marketplace. And so if you, as a viewer, want to see Stephen's pitch and want to join us in Prescott, please just go to moonshotaz.com. You can buy tickets to the event. It's on a Saturday this year, October 18th, in lovely downtown Prescott. And I think the event runs from 5 to 10 that evening. It's a party, so you're going to be fed, you're going to be entertained, and you're really going to be inspired by what you're going to see on the main stage. So again, I look forward to seeing you there, Ruth Ellen. I look forward to continuing these entrepreneur spotlights. We'll be running them through the rest of the tour. I think we have 3 more stops before we conclude our tour. And we're going to do our best to get everybody on camera and let them share their story. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, sir. Good to see you as always. And we'll see you again soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye.